Good morning and welcome to Relationship Wednesdays here on KTN Life and Style. Guys, it's the new year. Happy New Year! I'm one of your hosts, Susan Jeroge, and my lovely co-host.
I'm Nixie. I'm still here. And like you can see, we have a different way we've set up the show. So we start with all the faces that are going to be embracing you today and give you fire topics.
Yep.
You're not even ready for what we have in 2020. So I'm going to introduce our guests. Next to Susan, we have Kathy.
Yes.
She's a beauty guru. She is a beauty technician, you know. She's the one who is meant to fix us sometime this year. But we'll talk about that.
Okay. Later.
Yes. And then to my left, we have Raymond. He is a life coach. Yep. Can you guess what our topic is today? Susan, do you want to tell them?
Guys, our topic is serious. We're starting off 2020 with a bang. We are asking a very difficult question. We are asking, why do women marry people, men, that they do not love? Is that a thing that actually happens, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
You know, I'm not married, so I wouldn't want to talk negatively about it, but I'm like, oh, what if it happens, you know? I mean, I'd have a couple of reasons why I'd do it in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, but before we get into it, Kathy, what do you think? Why do some women get married to men they do not love? Also, does love have to exist before you get married?
Yeah.
Because sometimes maybe that's
It's not
it.
necessary.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Love does not have to exist. I think people grow in love with time. But I think mostly why women marry men they do not love is because of security. They want security, pressure, peer pressure, family. The clock is ticking. You know, there's so many reasons why women will go for men they don't love.
Right.
Yes.
And
Before we-
Raymond, on the other side, what do you think?
We have talk of definition love. Does it exist? Should it exist?
Is it mandatory?
All else should we be
Should it
loved?
exist?
But
Yeah.
my definition for love would be like as more a feeling with components.
Okay.
One, passion,
Uh-huh.
intimacy, and commitment. So when you say you're in love, for me, I would expect the three components to be there. So that as much as I'm feeling for you, I'm feeling loved, components.
Right.
Are you intimate? And then are you committed or are you passionate? So for me, I would be like, it should be.
Yeah.
But you see, before you get to marriage, yeah, because we are talking about women getting married to men they do not love. Before you get to marriage, it's a whole journey.
Yeah.
So at what point do you realize this person is fit for marriage? Because again, I'm thinking, honestly, we should have like a biological book where you go study on these things and you know when it gets to chapter 7, it's time to, you know, pop the question.
No, I agree.
Because you end up wasting so much time. You can date someone for 13 years, dude, and then you realize you don't want to get married to them, you
Yeah.
know. So is there a certain, what's it called, a certain checklist with dates on it where by this time,
I
when this
should.
person asks this question, I should know if I love them or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need also to ask ourselves, like, first of all, is to understand that definition comes from, I'll use more on understanding that we start experiencing that connectedness since we are young. So there is an innate desire within us to be accommodated on how we are. So everybody look for somebody who can accommodate them because no man is an irad or a woman is an irad.
Yes.
So you need someone to be with, first of all, so that you can deal with that sense of belonging, which we all have. And in that sense of belonging, now it goes to like checklist of like, who do I love? So you start asking, we talk of phileo, more brotherly love, or sisterhood. Nowadays we're talking of brozoning.
Yes.
Yeah, but you see now from that, you need a brother or a sister in this life
Right.
to walk with and to be with. Then you talk of eros, is the erotic part where the body feels need to be connected with another body for our sexual needs. Then again, we talk of agapao, the godly love, where it's unconditional love, where like you are not demanded. You know, nowadays we are paying to be loved. Like when you love somebody, you feel there is a condition in terms. So
Yes.
the terms of reference for this love is what you're asking, what are these checklist?
Yeah.
But you see now from, if you have a godly love that you feel I'm loved by God, so there is no, you are not craving. You know, you talk of cups where like you go drawing godly love,
Yes.
brotherly love, elos love.
Yeah.
But you also talk about that love you feel, I need to be connected to other people. So for you to be intimate, you need to have that. Is it godly love you're asking? Do you really understand God loves you?
Yes.
Unconditionally. So where you have confidence in yourself that I'm not half. You know, you keep talking of your better half.
Yeah.
But you need to know singleness, you are complete as a single. You are born single, you die single. So you
Yeah,
maximize your singleness. But you see now, if I'm feeling one side of me, I'm not complete, I need to be completed by somebody. So the moment you have a crush, it will be like, you like some
This is
guy.
it,
And there is a crush you all get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But will that end up in marriage or in companionship for partnership? Not
Very
really.
short
So
term.
there is
Guaranteed.
the walk you're talking about. So in the choice, a date plan, a courtship plan,
Yes.
then an engagement. 13 years, are you buying something out of that investment? What is
Wait,
it?
it's an investment.
Better.
It's a
That is
proper
a serious
investment.
investment. Yeah.
Imagine all the gifts you've bought this person in 13 years.
Yeah.
Imagine all the time, the energy,
It's
the
the
things
time.
you gave up, you know.
So you are the one investing.
Yeah.
So that means we need to ask each other, from an investment point,
Right.
we talk of love units, where like everybody has an emotional bank.
Yes.
Like when you meet with somebody, there'll be like that point of an emotional bank where I'll put some love units. If I treat you nice, you add me some love units
Right.
in the account. So what happens is that if you know who is emotional and available, you develop hardness. So you always be attracted to those guys that are not emotional
The
available
hardest
for
guy.
you.
That's
So
sad.
because you are hardened,
Yeah.
then if you grew with a compassionate father who understands you, you'll be looking for that guy
Person,
out there. So you go out looking for a man who looks like your caring brother or your caring father. Now, unfortunately, when you go out, you may not find that one person who looks like the other person.
Yeah.
So it will be like you'll be negotiating for the person. And me, I talk about phenomenological, just being very present, being available. You do reality check. Like the very first date, if the guy is controlling, if the person is, or a lady is over demanding, that you feel overwhelmed, that the resources that you have internally will not take care of the person's needs. You need to know, I need to be open and tell you, me in this, I can't push it
Serious
further.
make.
But now when it comes to pressure of like when you are 40, you need a child, you need a home. And you know, like, where were you all the other years? You didn't build friendships. There is no person you have grown with you can feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
There is no person who you did games with, you did assignment with, you did work with,
But
that
it
you
would require
feel
that
there is
person to also be on the
compatibility. I'm
same
talking about the compatibility, that you
Yeah.
feel this person understands me when I'm in my roles and when I'm on high. But you see, our relationship and our friendship is so weak. We do our career path, our education path, and we think one time I'll just walk and get the
bump
light
into
guy.
them
But you
and
see now
be
the
all
guy growing
amazing.
up, he grew from a home without a father. He has no idea how to relate with you. Then a lady also grew without a father. And all of you are meeting and like, how does it work?
Yeah, but
it's
then again, I
confusing.
feel like we have a societal problem that really has no solution.
Yeah.
Because if you say that, let's say I was raised by a dad who was probably absent, or he was the kind of person to give you that very weird love, that's probably not love. And then, so you've said that I'd keep attracting the same man in my life.
Yes.
So then again, when I meet this man who's not my kind of attraction, I will think he doesn't love me because he's not giving me what my dad used to give me.
Yes.
So at what point do you break the chains of, dude, listen, so this is how my dad used to be, this is the kind of man I'm attracting in my life. At what point do you realize that when you're already so used to it and that's what you keep attracting? So you might actually never attract someone different from your dad. That's what I'm thinking now.
Yes.
Because
You need to be self-aware
And it's a
enough to
it's
do
a
it. I don't
challenge.
even
And you
It's such a
say
big challenge,
there's
honestly.
there's no man who is a god to you.
Yeah.
And there's no woman who is a goddess to you. So there's no one who is coming to rescue me from my emotional baggage that I
Right.
developed from childhood.
Yeah.
So I need to be aware that I struggle with insecurity. So that means if I'm looking for a guy to give me the confidence and the security, I need to work on those things, my inner baggages
Yeah.
and my childhood unfinished business that I'm carried along. So that when I deal with them, I also would expect the person I'm coming to meet, if they have emotional baggage, they're not going to change because of you. You're not going to save them. You know, the days we used to say, like, I want to save a guy for myself. So you go pick a guy, then he'll be saved as you move along. Then we have realized with the time, nobody's
In fact, when you talked about the
It's a
emotional
myth.
bank, I was like, I think a lot of the time we end up finishing our emotional banks is putting so much effort into changing somebody that can't be changed.
Then
met
you
them, you're
realize-
adults. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's usually the wiring of our brains.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day, where it happens when you're very young. And around the time when you're 7 or 8 years old, your personality and the way you understand love and how to be loved and compassion is pretty much set.
By your environment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then now you're starting to date when you're 18, 20, 25, 30, and you think you're going to rewire this person's rewiring that's been said since they were 8 years old. It's very difficult, and I think it requires people to be really aware.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask is, times are different now with how educated women are and how much they're working. Do we think that that's part of the reason that a woman will make a decision to marry somebody that they don't love? Because maybe logically or according to how I'm educated, there's these things that come first. So if I have children, I'm looking at security for my kids and fees for my kids and a home for my kids. I look at this guy's qualities and I'm like, okay, this is somebody that I think I could spend a number of years of my life with, so then let's get married. Is it coming from people who are more educated and understanding the things that are going to be needed for their life? Or are women marrying men that they don't love? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we also now, we may blame the empowerment, because I know somebody was asking, are we also empowering men to live with an empowered woman? But you also need to check our bringing, because there's a family of origin. And in the family of origin, there's what we call the attachment. If the person who gave you the basic needs that you needed as a child, if you are neglected, that there's a part of the brain that's associated with empathy, where, like, if this person they cried and nobody responded, then they switched off, there's no way you grow their empathy to, like, understand. And that's why we have the people who are psychopaths. Somebody who can slap you and he just not feel anything, or see blood and feel anything. So that means they were not trained to be empathetic about other people.
Right.
So if you are to a point where you went to an avoid, if somebody was like, you cried, nobody responded. But there's somebody you cried and they were responded to. That person now know that if I cry, somebody can respond. But now we have people who have grown without being attended emotionally. And now when you're talking of men being empowered, I'm like, these men are also emotionally underdeveloped. Because they were told when you cry, you shouldn't. So in the men enough and the risky life that men are living, then you are not connecting. So you may realize our level of chemical dependence is very high. To now, when you're asking the person, can we solve these issues? They don't understand the basic of conflict management. Because we can't solve conflict, all of them. They are perpetual issues that we will carry along in our lives, especially the personality change. And that's why you realize most marriages, we have missionary marriages. Like, I come with a toolbox to shape you to be who I want.
Okay, we're going to come back to talk about that toolbox. I like that. That's important, because I need to know what tools to deal with.
Let's open it and see what's in it.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Remember to keep talking to us using the hashtag KTN Life and Style on Twitter, or message our Facebook page, KTN Life and Style. See you after the break.